Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a quick rundown of this build. My goal was to make another frame that can use heavy weapons in one hand and hold all sorts of poses without slouching. This has already been achieved with this guy's predecessor Piston Pete, which works perfectly fine. But for this one, I wanted to switch out the big disc joints in the lower legs for ball joints, for the smooth movement that they provide. And in the waist, I actually went back to a ratchet joint because I actually like the precision in the poses without messing with it too much to try to get a precise, robotic pose. The stability and weight-carrying capacity of the two frames is about the same, and it's enough to pile up the heaviest weapons in my arsenal. The hands are very similar in design to my previous builds and can securely hold all of the weapons I made so far. It might not be obvious how this works from the images, but basically I used a handle with a pinhole that first appeared on some Ninjago mechs that perfectly slots into the palm and disables all rotation of the handle, so it's completely tied to the movements of the wrist. If you haven't tried this out, I encourage you to do so. It's really simple to implement and super satisfying. Pistons are one of the main features that sets this mech apart, which I would also recommend trying out in your own builds because they add so much stability and joint strength without restricting movement. The hardest ones to implement were the shoulder supports because I had to get a huge amount of the resistance without ruining the mobility. In terms of part count, the frame itself is the biggest and the most complex frame I made so far at 924 pieces. I also included two weapons that are exclusive to this build. The sword that's a modified version of Jay's Titan Mech sword and a Gatling gun, both of which can be held in position with the elbow locking structure. Of course, I made sure to include the big red button, as quality standards dictate. Furthermore, I will definitely have pictures of this guy using that light bluish-grey bazooka, since that's one of my favorites lately. I think this time I came pretty close to using only the parts that are still in production, except the friction adders, which are so hard to give up on using. I swear those things are going to be worth their weight in gold in the future, unless Lego makes a new part that works in a similar way. Invest while you can. That's pretty much it in terms of time invested and number of tests and experiments conducted. This was probably the toughest mech to make for me, so far. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys like it and have a good day.